But I'm do a brief video about I do love Bollywood because it comforts me. I watch this video often. I'm treated well by full Indians, all people from India, all Indians treat me really well. And hold on, I'm doing something. But it's disappointing. I am, as a mixed race person, I won't say here what I'm mixed with because I'm not really in the mood to share. Sometimes I don't share. It depends on my mood. Sometimes I share. But I don't always have to share with everyone. If I feel comfortable enough, I will share. But I feel like Indians treat me the best. Indian girls and guys. And I appreciate that for sure. And I think that when you're mixed race, no matter what you're mixed with, you will notice that people who are not mixed, like, they're usually full black girls. Every once in a while, it's a white girl, but not really. White girls are usually very confident, I find, and they don't feel slighted by a mixed race person. Not normally. That's very rare coming from them. But in my case, I feel comfortable with white girls. And even if I'm in a setting of all whites and I'm the only person of color, I feel totally comfortable with that. I actually love being the only person of color because it's drama-free and very peaceful for me. So let's say, I'm just giving you an example. Let's say I'm on a cycling team in Florida and I go out on a team of all girls and we go cycling together outside in a pack. Typically that pack is going to probably be all white women and I'm the only person of color in it. That doesn't bother me at all because they treat me really well. Generally, they treat me very well. It's super rare if one has a problem with me. I can get over it because it's not so frequent, you know. But black women treat me the worst, I think. So I find that they are threatened. They feel slighted by a mixed race person, exotic looking person like me. In person, I hear people say, sometimes people feel I look Mexican, like full Mexican. I've heard that before from like white or Greek men. Then sometimes everyone sees something different. Some people think I look full Hawaiian. Some people feel I look half Latin, half Latin, Latina, and then half South Asian. I hear a little bit of everything. I've heard half Korean, half black. I've heard half Japanese, half black. I've heard too much stuff, like half. I've heard if I'm with all whites, like on a cycling team in a pack of all white girls, and I'm the only person of color cycling, people are assuming I'm half white. Like, yeah, for sure, her dad's got to be white. They're so sure about it, they feel I look half white. And so I've heard a bit of everything. And so I've also heard that I look full Indian from India. So for many people. like, oh, you gotta be full Indian, totally Indian from India, you're beautiful, whatever. And I take it as a compliment. Yes, I do, because I think that I think all races are very beautiful. I don't, and it's easier to find the beauty in a race when they treat you really well. And I get treated really well by all Indians, Bengali, Sri Lankan women. The girls are always nice. The men too, but the girls, I feel like the girls are even nicer. But as friends, that is, they feel like, and they say that I feel like they're family, and I like that they say that. Like how I meet North Indian, South Indian girls, Sri Lankan, Bengali, and they all tell me, "Oh, you feel like my relative," and I like that. The way they connect with me, the way they treat me, and they don't isolate me. Because when you're exotic, you will notice that people, girls sometimes, and women, sometimes they isolate you. They exclude you from events. They don't invite you to things like parties and stuff. Special events, very, very special events like weddings. In my case, I've always been invited to the weddings, but like, let's say, if you expected somebody to put you in the bridesmaids team when you're beautiful, they exclude you from things like that. Typically, they do. Black Americans can have a tendency to do this if you've known them for a long time and you expect to be a bridesmaid and then you don't get picked because you're attractive. So that can happen. But I feel like other races don't do that so much. I feel that white women don't do that. Don't just exclude you because you're beautiful. I've never been excluded like that from white women and from other racial groups. And growing up, I had like all white girlfriends, a bunch of different white girlfriends, Latin girls, and Indian girls too. And it was very happy for me because I didn't have to hear about any racial, there was nothing racial or no tension that came with that. So, you notice that when you are exotic and mixed race, you will notice that women feel slighted and threatened by you, and it's disappointing because it makes it harder to do like normal things, like normal events are not so normal for you because especially when it comes to full black women who feel threatened by you being just around them, like your presence makes them feel insecure because you're a good looking person. And so it can feel like you're left out of things. And it's hard to fit into the black girls group for sure. And I haven't tried to fit into this group in ages. I gave up because I think it would be torturing myself to mentally get in the mirror and go, oh, I'm about to go in a group of black girls who I don't know and they're going to accept me, is a lie. I know it's a lie, and I would never do that to myself. I would never disappoint myself like that. I know that they don't typically like me, because I I look like a different race, and I am a different race, mix. I'm a mixture, and um this is uncomfortable to talk about, but um I used to be hurt by it, I think, and now I'm over it, and I try my best to be over it so that I don't hold on to any bitterness inside of myself, because people are not even sorry, you know. And so when I see Bollywood and Indian music, hear Indian music, I feel comforted. I feel like that's my home. People that don't, they're really good people. They don't stress me out. You know, they're pure people, pure intentions. And no, that does not mean, even though I've been invited to live in India before, that doesn't mean, I'm saying everyone should just move to India if they feel like they're out of the group. But especially when you're used to the US. But I think in India there's a lot of pros to living in India, yeah. But I'm used to being in the US, even though I got hired in India before, in Mumbai, India. So, and as a medical job there, you can't just it's ways that could go wrong, for sure it is. Doctors there are good. They're good people. I probably need to just cut this video off. I don't really want to share too much. I already feel like I share it too much. But you don't have to say anything at all when you're a mixed race. People feel slighted by you, and they feel like they need to defend themselves against you because you're mixed race or something. Like you're on mixed race mountain, and they put you on such a high pedestal in their minds, and you get the worst of their insecurities. They release their insecurities on mixed race human beings, and you get the worst of their insecurity, and you get the worst of their inner issues with themselves. They have to put that on you and say that you have issues because of their own insecurities. Accuse you of having issues that they struggle with. And, you know, they tend to isolate you a lot when you're mixed race. You feel like a whole white woman. You know how many times I felt like a whole white woman, even though I'm not, you know. So, because of the isolation that you feel from people of color. So, you know, the way they exclude you from things, and the way they race bait and bring up race. These are people, like I said before. You can be talking about nectarines and fruit, different fruits, And they can always turn a conversation about fruit into a Black Lives Matter debate. And so, they have a worse habit of doing that, turning pleasant conversations into hell and tension and heated debates about Black Lives Matter, you know? And, you know, and so since I'm mixed race, let's say if a full Black man, he's a gun owner, for me that's always been kind of like scary. And I'm not, it's because I'm not, because I'm mixed race and exotic looking, when a Black man has a gun, it's never made me feel comfortable, even when he's nice. Because they can be nice people and gun owners, but like, you just don't feel like you can trust them. When a white man has a gun, so far I felt more comfortable with a white male gun owner than a Black male gun owner. I've always felt that. And I've been close friends with white men who own guns, and it was never scary at all. But when a Black man has a gun, he could do so many things with that gun. He could force you into something or, kidnap you or something. Full Black men, when they are gun owners, they usually will tell you that they're a gun owner, but like, they just can't be trusted with guns. And then my Indian guy friends are like, stay away from Black men with guns. They're dangerous. They could be dangerous to you. I don't trust them around you, they say. So they're concerned about my safety. And so I listen to them, and I haven't been around any Black guys with guns. And, it's, you just can't always trust to be around a full Black man, And so instead of making yourself uncomfortable and stressing yourself out, trying to fit into these spaces that you don't feel like it would work out, you go where you feel most welcome. And that's typically for me, that's Indian men, that's mixed race men are nice to me. And I had to watch the story about Cassie and how she got treated with him, with P. Diddy. And, and so I've always been a Cassie fan. So that story is hard to watch for me. So I didn't finish it all. But, the same thing could happen to me if I let my guard down. So I don't let my guard down with full Black men. Because I don't trust that they would treat me right. And yes, full Black men defend me. They've defended me many times, like, without me asking. But, it's not a consistent type of thing. But, mixed race men defend me too. I need it. But, being abused and beaten up like Cassie was and the way she was treated. I've never experienced anything like that. Never been beaten up, but I've never opened myself up like that to a full black man. You know, like Indian men treat me really well, compliment me a lot, and I like how they treat me, and I would not be around if a guy was, I don't think I would have been around a guy who was beating me up like, and treating me the way Cassie got treated. You know, her mom must have taught her to be too nice or something. But, it's like, it seems like she didn't even love herself. Maybe that's the problem with some women. It seems like she didn't care enough about herself to avoid him. She cared more for him. And it backfired on her. You know, so... And it's such a hard thing to watch. And I think they should maybe edit out the details or something. I don't know. But it looks like, based on what I heard, that he does need to stay in jail for the rest of his life. He's a danger. And I know I shouldn't be silent like that for so long, but stuff that I saw in the video is too much to talk about, I think. But he's such a sick man. And she seemed hurt by it, but she must not have cared for herself enough. But I'll wrap it up now. So, disappointed in that story. And I know the same thing could happen to me if I was that nice, which I am not. So,